Hey, everybody. I know I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted to sing it to you tonight or if I just wanted to say it. But hey, everybody, come on in. Welcome to Sip and Chat with Lynn. Honey, I got something good in store for you tonight. Do you hear me what I say? Yes, go on and grab your favorite beverage. Remember to like and share, right? Don't be selfish because there's some good content tonight, baby. So make sure you share this stream because, honey, tonight, my special guest, she's a guest here, but she's no guest any other time. She is my co-host and one of my favorite people. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the room. Miss Sherri Cook, baby. Yay! Hey, baby. Welcome.
I'm so glad to be here.
I know, right? Look, I'm so glad to have you because OMG, this is 3 nights in a row. In a row, 3 nights this week that we have sat down and partied with each other.
It is. We just have a lot to talk about, don't we?
We do. And tonight's topic, baby. Look, y'all, I try to be as professional as possible, but this is a good topic. So I want to make sure we share this. So I'm gonna go on and share, and you go on and share it.
Where am I sharing it from?
Go on to our page to Lynn Tate and share from there.
Okay.
And we're gonna go on and share this stream, y'all, because we want folk to be blessed tonight. Because we have an amazing topic that we're going to talk about. Tonight, we are talking about none other than self-sabotage. You heard me?
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. And I thought that there was no other better person for me to share this topic of conversation with than my girl, Sherri. Why? Because Sherri and I both have been in predicaments and situations, honey, where we have done just that. We have self-sabotage. And tonight, we're going to talk about ways to identify if you're self-sabotaging and ways to avoid it. Okay? Are you ready to get into this? Make sure you share. Yep, I know. I'm sharing because I care. That's why I'm sharing because I care.
I'm on Lynn Tate, but I don't see it.
It's okay. I'm going to tag you in it.
Okay. Please.
You sure? I sure will. But anyway, come on in. I'm excited, Sherri. What about you? You excited about tonight?
Oh yeah. I'm always excited to encourage people and motivate people. So because as I encourage you, it definitely encourages me. So I always look forward to the opportunity to do any type of this.
Yeah.
Sessions like this. It just does something for me. Oh, I see it.
You got it now. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, do your job. We just did our job. We just shared. So you make sure you share too. But I think it's crucial. You and I always have conversation and topics where we talk about how we're always doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You're always pointing the finger at someone else. Well, you did, and you did, and they did, and they said. You know what I mean? It's always pointing at everyone else about everything else. But what did you do? When did you do this?
Yeah.
To see what role you contributed or played to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I discovered that all that I was doing, especially when you're launching out into your own business, in life in general too, but when you're really launching out and you're trying to make things happen for yourself or you're trying to get in the groove of what's for you, it is very easy sometimes to self-sabotage. Mm-hmm. Like we plan out our lives, right? So we have this plan. Sherri, what you have your plan, and in your plan, you're like, I'm gonna do A, I'm gonna do B, I need to do C, I'm gonna do this, and then this is gonna lead to this. But did you plan for flexibility? Did you put flexibility in that?
Right.
right? And most of the time we don't.
Yeah.
Then when opportunities come, we're turning them down, or we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people and talking ourselves out of why we don't deserve it.
Right.
And you never look at it as you sabotaging yourself. Most of the time you look at it as, well, oh, that's just not the right opportunity for me because
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to do A, B, C, D, and E, F, and G. You
And
never
you know,
look
they always say that, you know, when you point one finger this way, there are three pointing back at you,
yeah,
right? But also, you know, in the whole realm of self-sabotage, you know, sometimes what we do is we'll jump into something and not think it through,
yep,
and then become defeated because it's not happening for us.
yeah,
When you're not actually kind of being that strategist that you need. Sometimes you need to reach out to somebody to get some additional assistance in doing it, especially when you talk about something as big as planning a business, right?
right.
Or wanting to run your own business. It's a lot of stuff in business that you don't know. You know,
Correct.
there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. You can have the idea all day long, but
Yep.
implementing it and making it happen is a
It's
whole nother can of worms.
mm-hmm.
So you kind of overdo it and overextend yourself, like you mentioned, because you think that you're doing it the right way, but in actuality you're kind of spinning your wheels,
Yep.
right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you're sitting back feeling defeated and, oh my goodness, I can't do this, maybe this is not for me, maybe, oh my goodness, I've jumped into this and maybe this thing isn't for me. But even just life in general, you know, beyond business, but just life in general, sometimes we might make a hiccup or make a mistake and be
Yep.
like, oh no, like, what did I do that for? And then you beat yourself up over it for months and months and weeks, and some people years and years,
And you
you
don't
know,
get back up.
and you
And so,
don't get back up. Right.
yeah. So, like, what are some of the ways that you found you self sabotage? Like, when you do an assessment of yourself, what are some things that you know you've done that had where you've gotten in your own way and self sabotaged?
Mine is definitely like procrastinating. So even though I work well under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes procrastinating and putting things off and just,
Yeah.
oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll get to it another day. Oh, I'll do it another time. I think that's my form of self sabotage. And
Mm-hmm.
then also, as I'm preparing for things, because of course, what I'm doing is more speaker and facilitating,
Right.
like 2 days before or the day of, I'm totally feeling like, well, maybe I'm not the right person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe what is this the right topic I'm supposed to be talking about? Or are these the right notes that I have? Sometimes I'll totally doubt myself and
Yeah.
throw my own self under the bus, you
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
literally. And I know it, and I have to really kind of pull myself out of it because I'm like, oh well, maybe somebody's gonna be there and they're gonna think that, oh my goodness, she's
Yeah.
horrible, and yeah, just totally just beat myself up.
It's
So
self doubt.
procrastination and self doubt really is part of my self sabotage.
I think that's very on point because procrastination, you put stuff off and put stuff off. And I've noticed with my own self, two things happen. Either I've procrastinated so much that I literally miss the timing of that
Mm,
thing and the time runs out. And so I've missed the timing to get that thing done or to take advantage of that opportunity. Or B, in procrastinating, I find ways to talk myself out of it.
right.
Like I know in the beginning that this is what I need to do, but then
Mhm.
I procrastinate, and then that self conversation comes in and talks me right out of doing what I should have did.
And you know, and the crazy thing is that, you know, sometimes people look at, you know, people who are doing things or successful, you know, quote unquote successful, that, you know, we don't have that issue, and very much so.
Yeah,
So I felt like this was a really good topic because I always want people to know that, you know, we're human too. Like
yeah,
We have experiences too. We have
Mm-hmm.
self-doubt too. We have self-sabotage moments as well. The only difference that what we have and what other people may be experiencing in self-sabotage, the only thing that's different is that we push through.
Yeah.
That's it. Is
Mm-hmm.
that we continue to push through.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't continue to push through, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Correct.
Right. So we continue to push through. It's very natural to have it, but are you going to sit on it and let it control and run you
Mm-hmm.
and defeat you, or are you going to just push through anyway and
Yep.
say, you know what, I'm having this moment. I'm gonna get up in front of all these people. There's gonna be sweat pouring down my back. My hands are gonna be sweaty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm gonna push through anyway. So I
Mm.
think for me, that's the only difference in, when you hear some people who are just not pressing forward in some of their moments of wanting
Yeah.
to achieve something, and those that do.
And that's one of the other things that I said. So with that, I call that failure is guaranteed to happen. Like, and I don't even want to call it failure, but you're going to have these moments where things just simply don't work out the way that we have planned them, right? And you have two choices. You can either sit there and wallow in what didn't work out, or you can get the chance to process and cry through it, get up and keep moving, right?
Right.
Make the adjustment. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think people get caught up in, oh, that didn't work, so it wasn't for me. Maybe it wasn't that it wasn't for you. Maybe it was just simply that the way you went at it wasn't the correct way to do it. Or maybe the angle that you went wasn't the right angle. Maybe you just need to make an adjustment to what you were doing and then get up and keep moving. You know, you do have to assess, but don't get me wrong, it's a thin line because you got to assess whether it didn't work out because it wasn't for you, and if it didn't work out because you need to make an adjustment and get up and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when you sit there and you wallow in it, and you don't realize, okay, does this just need a little tweak and get up? When you wallow in it, you've missed the learning lesson. You missed the lesson in it. And 9 times out of 10, you want to repeat it again when you go at a different opportunity.
And that's what happens when you have like a really changed mindset. That is the one thing I'm really sincere about, is changing your negative mindset.
Yeah,
Because when you start to look at less mistakes as lessons, it
yeah,
changes your whole perspective on everything that you experience in life. Even if it was a venture that you went into. Your cousin said, guess what? This one's a good one. You should hop on. Come on, let's do this business. And
right.
you jump in there. Sometimes it may not have been for you. Like you
Yep.
mentioned, it wasn't for you. Maybe it was for your cousin, but it wasn't for you. So the
Mhm.
lesson in that is to follow what you have in your heart and in your
Mhm.
spirit, your passion, your
Yep.
purpose, right? So start looking at mistakes as lessons,
Yeah.
right? In everything that you do. And slowly but surely you'll begin to change that negative mindset, you
Yeah.
know? So
And I'm gonna piggyback on that, and I'm gonna take it a step further. Stop comparing yourself to other people.
mhm.
Because when we're looking at, oh, well, that worked for them and it don't work for me, and nothing works for me, but everything always works out for them. Guess what? In comparing yourself to other people, everybody has their own individual path, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so you're comparing their apples to your oranges.
Mhm.
And then you again miss what was for you.
Be
Because
the best version of you that you can possibly be.
there you go.
Nobody makes you look good but you. That's
Yep.
it.
That's
Nobody can make me look good. Nobody. Not the man, not the woman, not the friend, not the bestie. Nobody. I make me look good in whatever shape, form, fashion that is.
yeah.
Right? So nope, it's no time to compare. And definitely, I may not need to walk in the shoes that they done walked in to get where
Yeah.
they at, right?
Well,
I
not
got my
only
own
that,
shoes.
but you don't know the price that they paid. You
Pay
don't
the
know what
price that
they
they
went
paid.
through to
Right.
get where they are, right? Yeah, I see you. I see you sipping over there, girl. But you don't know the price that they paid to get there. That's what I say, you're
Right.
comparing your apples to their oranges. And sometimes you may, for instance, we're speakers. Both of us are speakers, right? But
Mhm.
my path is not your path.
That's right.
And I don't know what you went through. I mean, I do kind of, but I don't know exactly what you went through to get where you are, right? People look at us now. We have a fantastic show, B to the third power. We have our show. But people see us on air and they're like, oh, they got this show, they this, but they don't know what we had to go through to even get to the
Right.
point of
Right.
having that show.
Right.
We didn't just wake
Exactly.
up and voila, we're talk show hosts and we had this big, beautiful talk show. No, we
Right.
had to go through some things to even get to the point where we could come on, have the confidence to even have real conversation like this and
Mhm.
be honest about what we've had to encounter or how we got in our own way on our journey to this.
And the daily grind that goes along with it. Like we don't just pop up on air
Mm-mm.
and and it all just happens.
No, not
Believe me, there's days and nights and conversations and meetings and daily and
a
weekly
lot.
that we're having to make this thing happen. This grind is not easy. And I'm telling you, so that's whatever that you do in life, whatever focus that you have in life, anything worth having is worth working for,
Yeah,
right? Simple as that. And it's not going to be easy. I promise you it'll be worth it, but it's not going to be easy. But yeah, you're right. People will see the outcome, but they don't see what it takes to get there. They don't see the days when we're beating up on ourselves and they're like,
yeah,
do we talk about that? Do we
right.
really? Are we going to talk about that? Well, maybe that's not going to work. Maybe this is going to work. So we
Or
have,
being or actually going on and something seeming like it failed, right? Or something not going the way we had hoped that it would go. The
right,
disappointment that we faced. But
totally.
we got to get up and keep moving. You know what I mean? Like it's ups and downs, it's highs and lows. It's a meme that was going around of an iceberg. And it was showing all the top of the iceberg that showed all of the accolades, everything that went with it, the awards and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But then underneath the current, underneath the water, you saw all the other things that the people had to go through.
right,
You don't know the undercurrent of what someone had to go through to even
right.
accomplish where they are. But that takes me back to my next thing, and that is because you touched on it, which was so great, which is when you're in your lane. Like first, the thing you got to do is get in your lane or get at your table, because we talk about tables all the time. There is room for you at your table,
Yeah,
right?
yes. Hmm.
There is room for you at your table, but you got to be your authentic self, discover what that is, who are you at your core, who are you authentically,
Right.
and what is your authentic purpose. Like you got to find that, because otherwise, like you said, you're going to be spinning your wheels if you're out here trying to compare yourself to other people and be like other people. You
And
can't do
please
that.
other
You got to
people.
find your
Right.
own authentic lane.
Right.
Sometimes you're in your own way because you're out here trying to replicate someone else
Hmm.
and their efforts, and you haven't found out who you are.
Or please other people. Right. Because then what happens is we begin to want to make everyone else happy instead of making ourselves happy. And it's
Yeah,
called the healthy selfish. We
yeah,
oftentimes will think that it's not right. Maybe we shouldn't do that. No, 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 no. That's called the healthy selfish. And even as moms, we have to have a healthy selfish where we
yeah,
still continue to take care of ourselves and still continue to look out for ourselves. Because if we don't, who's going to take care of us when we're all broke down? That's number one.
hmm,
But number two, recognizing where you are. Just recognize where you are and find out how you're going to move forward and becoming your authentic self.
yeah,
How are you going to do that? And a lot of that for me, if I can share, in recognizing and becoming aware of where I was in my space and in my place. I'm gonna tell you, it was spiritual. I had to strengthen my spiritual life. I
yeah,
had to strengthen I had to. That was what I needed to do. Now,
Yeah.
some people, it might be therapy. Some people, it might be, doing some other things, digging a little deeper. But
Right.
for me, I really had to get connected spiritually. And
Yeah.
I had to figure out what my purpose was and what that sixth sense was.
Yeah.
Because I realized that I had it, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I knew God had given me a gift, and your sixth sense, I've always said, is your gift. So I needed to figure that thing out. And once I figured it out, I was like, wow, you're right. I have been doing this like my whole life. I've been
Yeah.
talking to people and encouraging people like my whole life. I was always
Like
the
you were
person.
being groomed for it. Yeah. It was
Yeah,
always in you.
it
It
was
just
in
needed
me. I
to
just
nurture
didn't know it. So now I need to feed that part of my spirit. And for me to do that, I really had to tap into my spiritual side. And I
it.
had to become closer and get more involved on the spiritual level. And once I was able to leave the relationship, I promised myself and God, I said, God, I will never tell another man that I love him until I learn to love you more.
Yeah.
And I meant that thing, and I wanted that relationship bad. You know what I'm saying? So that for me was how I was able to recognize, you know, my authentic self and dig deeper.
And I'm gonna take your comment a step further, because not only when you learn to love God more, you learn to love yourself more. Because
Mhm.
in loving God and developing a relationship with God, it opens up who you are. It allows you to begin to see. One of the most powerful prayers that I remember praying when at a time when I was lost and I didn't really understand and know who I was God, let me see me through your eyes.
Right. Hmm.
That was my prayer. God, show me through your eyes. And
Hmm.
as I began to see myself through his eyes, don't get me wrong, you get the good and the bad, but I was able to love the good in me more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Right.
so often we are overlooking the quality that
Right.
we really have, the qualities and the worth that we really have. And
Right.
if you can't appreciate your own worth, then how is anybody else going to do it?
Exactly. And
You
like they say,
know?
sometimes, like the song say, sometimes you got to encourage yourself. That's what they say.
Girl,
Sometimes you have to encourage yourself.
encourage
Yes,
yourself. But I
because
believe one of the biggest ways that you can get out of your own way is to first learn and understand who you are, who your authentic self is, and how much you're worth. Because when
Mhm.
you find out who you are authentically, then it helps you to move in that vein and to align a lot better so that you're
Yeah,
not chasing after what's not yours, right?
yeah,
You get what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like we
totally.
have a show together. That is ours together, right?
Hmm.
But we both have our own lanes to get
Yeah,
there.
we
We're
do.
two very different people
Right.
doing the same thing, so to
Yeah.
speak. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so when we recognize that I'm not on this show, on our show or even on here, I'm not on here trying to be like you.
Right.
We both bring our original authentic selves to our show, and that's what makes it work. We're
That's
two talk show hosts, two people that love to inspire, help, and love upon people and encourage people to be their authentic self and to be able to grow and advance. We love that. That's what we have that's what we have in common. But I'm not on there trying to be Sherri. I'm not trying to sit like Sherri. I'm not trying to talk like Sherri. Sherri is a very calm, cool, collected, and when she wants to, can be, hey, welcome everybody. But that's who I am.
right.
I'm excited about different things.
Right.
But I embrace that and it makes us work. We make harmony together on our
Right.
show.
Well, they always say that they're like they always say about the realm, the thing that the niche we're in and speaking, speaking and facilitating and all of that stuff. There are what 500 some thousand speakers,
Right.
right?
It's a lot.
And it's a lot. But it's 3 billion people in the world, right? And they're not going to connect with somebody the same way that I'm going to connect with somebody.
Yes.
The way you speak and the way that you present your whatever you're talking about, that may not connect with someone the same
Yeah.
way as it will connect with me, right?
Yeah.
So that's why people always say it's enough out here for everybody,
Yep.
right? Like I told that example the other day when we were talking about the ladies who do the cheesecake.
Yes.
Um, the ladies were on furlough and they made some bomb cheesecakes.
Yep.
Well, Cheesecake Factory down the street make bomb cheesecakes, and they a $1 billion business, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of room for them to these girls over here to make
Yep.
cheesecake. And now they have a storefront at the National Harbor because they make good cheesecakes. Stay in your lane. If that's your thing, rock with it. It's enough people out here in the world that you can be supported in whatever industry you're in.
Yep.
And they found theirs and they're moving forward. So
And
now Cheesecake Factory better watch out because they might blow up. And you know what I mean?
yeah.
And them a couple more storefronts in the next couple years and they will be on the same level. So there's nothing wrong with small, humble beginnings. Stop beating yourself up. Stop saying that you're not worth it. Stop saying that you can't do it. Just push through anyway. Why is this line? Just push through anyway because who knows? You know what I mean? You might be the next Les Brown. You might be the next Iyanla Vanzant, who I watch and adore. I love her. Okay. So I love her real talk, and that's totally me. Like, I'm not gonna fit in with everybody. Because when I break it down, sweetie, and give you real talk, you're not gonna like me. Right? You're not gonna like me. But that is my approach. That's how I do things. And those people that I connect with.
I was going to say, and there are people that need someone like that, that's in your face, that's challenging you. There is a group of people that need that.
Right.
And there are people who need a little bit more tender loving care.
A little more tender loving care.
Just a little bit. But guess what? There is somebody out there for them too. It's finding out what works best for you.
Right.
Not being cookie cutter. And life is not cookie cutter. We all are unique individuals.
Yes.
That's the whole point we want to drive home tonight. We are all unique individuals and we all have something authentically unique to ourselves to offer to this world. But the biggest thing is you got to get in your lane, get out your way, right? And be who you want to be. That's what you have to do.
Right.
You got to get in your lane. You got to find out who your authentic self is. You got to get out your own way. And there are multiple ways that you're on your own way. Like we're nearing the end of this, but I want to just repeat, some of the ways that you could be possibly getting in your way is comparing yourself to others, which is comparing apples to oranges, because no two people are the same. You might go through the same circumstances, but that does not mean that you are the same and that you'll handle it the same. You have to stop passing over opportunities, having a poor mindset. Literally, there are people that are like, because it doesn't look the way that you planned it to look, you have no flexibility and you're missing the growth and opportunity that comes with your journey.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that again. You're passing over opportunities repeatedly because it does not look the way that you planned it to be. And so therefore you are missing opportunities of growth and preparation to go and be who you've been purposed and designed to be. I love that. I feel like I got to stay there for a second, but
I think you might have to record that because that was a good one.
Yeah. I'm like, I've seen so many people that be like, nope, that's not what I want to do. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Instead of really sitting down and evaluating, some things are stepping stones to get where you want to be. Don't get me wrong. There are things that come along as a distraction to pull you off course. You have to be mindful of that. But most importantly, you got to really assess something and not just say, well, I didn't plan to go to blah, blah, blah university. I said I was going to always go to this school. And so since I can't get into that school, I'm not going to this school. No, you might be purposed to go to the other school because there's something there that you need to get to your journey. But you're so bent on what you planned out that you don't know when it's time to call an audible. Hello.
And that too is another level of spiritual connection as well.
Yeah.
Because you realize that, it's not in your time and it's in God's timing.
It's in
So there are
God's
going to
time.
be detours that happen in life. There are going to be setbacks that happen in life. There are going to be major setbacks. There are going to be little setbacks. There are going to be
Mhm.
detours that you take. It's like going down 495, right? And you speeding
Yep.
down the fast lane, and all of a sudden you like, you know what? I'm just going to get off on exit 13 because, yeah, I want to go this way. The
Right.
traffic is backing up just a little bit on the beltway, just a little bit, not too much, but I'm going to go on and get off on 13, and I'm going to maneuver my way through, take the detour, right? Not
Yeah.
realizing that when you took that detour on that second turn on the left, you possibly may have had an accident
Yep.
because you wasn't even supposed to be going that way.
Nope. But
So
you
that was,
decided
but
that you
you
were going.
decided
You
because you
ain't
couldn't wait for a little while on the
going.
beltway
Come on.
because you didn't want to sit there and wait this thing out and walk yourself through it and move slowly through it. You wanted it to come real
Like
fast, so you
instant
detoured along,
gratification. Yep. So you sped into it
delayed
right into an
gratification,
accident.
and you sped yourself right into an accident. So now you have this major setback,
Mhm.
right? That you weren't expecting. So now you've got to kick in and figure out, now how am I going to work through this? And oh Lord, why is me? Well, you know what? Let's sit back and look at this thing here and where you are and start making some changes in the mindset.
Yep.
Because maybe if you had sat on that beltway and just took your time
Mhm.
and your purpose and just kept on walking through it
Come on.
instead of wanting to run through it, you would still be in your lane.
There you go.
So yeah, you know, it's
Accident. Had you stayed in your lane
stay
and
in
you
your
went with the flow of traffic instead of trying to be in a hurry.
yeah. You can
Yeah.
going on over there, took exit 13, and you can got yourself all razzle dazzled, and next thing you know, you got an accident
There
happening.
you go. And guess what? That leads me to the last thing that we're gonna remind
Oh,
you of
here we go.
is self-sabotaging and getting
You
in
know,
your
I done
own.
had a couple sips now, right?
I know it, I see you. I see you. Have
Still
one for
sipping
me.
chat. That's what you
You
said.
know, look, you know that that don't work for me this season, but you go on and enjoy one for me. But that leads us to the last thing that I wanted to say, and that is procrastination. So there's a difference in going with the flow of traffic in your lane and
Yes.
you deciding to really slow walk it, and then you
Mhm.
procrastinate your way on out of your opportunity.
Yeah.
Stop delaying and not handling your business because you're
Mhm.
missing your timing and you could really miss the opportunity altogether. And by the time you get ready to go do that, it's no longer available. And now you got to sit and wait. You ever had to
Mhm.
sit and wait for something to come back around?
And wait, that's the worst. And that is the worst type of self-doubt.
Yeah.
Because as you're
Sabotage.
waiting,
Yeah.
you're really
Mhm.
kind of beating yourself up all the whole time, like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe, you have a lot going on. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
real. Sitting and waiting.
Sitting and
Sometimes God
you
makes
gotta
you
wait
sit
for it to
still.
come back around because you
Yeah.
procrastinated too much the first time. You missed the opportunity. And it ain't like double dutch where you might get that, you in there waiting to jump in the rope and you like, oh, I'm gonna wait because she a little double-handed, and
Right.
then you wait and you wait and you wait and the opportunity is no longer there. Now it's done. It's gone. And you gotta wait for it to come back around. That sucks. And there was another point that came up just now that I was, oh yes, and the last thing, come on, thank you, Lord. The last thing we want to share is forgive yourself. The
Oh
biggest
wow. Yeah.
getting out of your way is forgiving yourself for the mistakes that you've made, the opportunities that you may have missed. Forgive yourself and learn from those things.
And
Learn from those things and forgive yourself.
forgiveness is major.
Yeah.
And that's in anything with anybody. Forgive yourself and learn to forgive others.
Yes.
Because, and now I'm not saying in forgiving the other that you still continue them to allow them to,
Misuse,
be
abuse you.
mistreat you
Mhm.
or be in your life. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that. But I am saying once you're at a certain point, forgive. Forgiveness is huge. It's like a weight lifted off of your shoulders. So
Yes.
can you imagine when you go to forgive yourself,
How much more
how
free
you
you
release
feel.
certain things within you when
Mhm.
you release, when you figure out and forgive yourself for making that mistake. That's why I was saying that to change mindset is something to begin to look at mistakes as lessons instead of something negative, as something that you could turn into a whole positive.
Yep.
People have found their purpose in changing those negatives into positive.
Yep.
But in that process, they've had to forgive themselves for
Mm-hmm.
something. And I don't care what it is, whatever it is, take ownership of it, become aware of it, and forgive yourself. That's a big one.
And pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep pushing.
Push through anyway.
Yeah. Well, Sherri Bear, I thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was so much fun chatting with you.
I love it.
I know. But that's okay, guys. Remember to check us out on Monday nights. I know this is Sip and Chat with T. Lynn, but guess what? T. Lynn is the talk show host, co-host, honey, of B to the Third Power. And we always got to shout them out. So make sure you check Sherri and I out on Monday nights on Urban Style Media on B to the Third Power, and on Wednesday nights on the B Third Power page via YouTube and Facebook as we do behind the scenes chat. Okay?
That's right.
All right.
We
Well,
won't have any wine, but we'll be
no,
there.
we don't have any
We
wine.
can
We're not
start having wine
like
though.
that one. Huh?
We can start having wine though.
Yeah. T. Lynn will still be drinking her green tea. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm really not a drinker, to be honest. Let me just put this out there publicly.
She's not. She's not. But she said, "Oh, we doing sip and chat with T tonight? Oh, I'm gonna have me a glass." I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, well, you go on and enjoy." T still gonna sip on her green tea because
And those little bit of sips, guess what? In like 5.5 minutes after we get off of here, I'll be upstairs
you going to
sleep.
sleep. See? That's what I'm
I'll
saying.
be knocked out. Mm-hmm.
Know your limits, people. She knows she got 3 good sips before she going to sleep. Know your limits. But I thank you, sweetheart, for joining me tonight. I have so much fun chatting with you. Cannot wait to see you again on Monday. I hope our viewers have enjoyed Sip and Chat tonight. Remember, don't be selfish, baby. You know, like I always say, share. You will never know, or you never know who might need the information. We might not have access to them, but guess who does? You do. They in your network. So share it with them, sweetheart. Don't be selfish. Share the love. Help them out. And help them get through their journey too. All right. Remember to like, love, share. Thank you guys for commenting. Those that joined the conversation. If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. And finally, remember to check us out at our blog at recognizingtherealme.com, which is how all of this got started for T. Lynn, baby. Go to recognizingtherealme.com. Be sure to like, love, subscribe, and share there too. Great information, holistic information that may be able to help, again, somebody in your network that I don't have access to. Share the love, baby. But anyway, thank you, Sherri Bear, for joining me. Love you, dear. And as I always say, today is a great day to make a difference in the lives of those around you. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Sincerely appreciate you. Hope you got something you needed. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye now.
Bye.